Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news. When we look at the Atlanta Falcons heading into this new NFL season, there's a real sense of anticipation mixed with a bit of cautious optimism. The team has been doing its homework, shuffling the roster, making strategic moves, and trying to close some of the gaps that have hampered them in recent years. The offensive side. Well, it's looking pretty solid, especially with the young talent they've managed to assemble. You see, this team has been building for the future, drafting some promising young players and developing a core that could really make an impact in 2024. But if there's one area that still raises eyebrows and keeps fans on edge, it's the defense. Yes, the defense is still a work in progress, and that's putting it mildly. Last season highlighted some serious issues, especially in the pass rush department. They struggled to generate consistent pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and that often translated into big plays for their opponents. The Falcons have been aware of this problem for a while now, and they've been actively trying to address it. It's no secret that improving pass rush has been a priority for the coaching staff, led by head coach Arthur Smith and defensive coordinator Dean Pease. But it's also clear that they're taking a more aggressive stance this offseason in trying to fix the problem. One of the most significant moves was the draft. The Falcons, recognizing the need for reinforcement along the defensive front, drafted 2 defensive linemen in the first round. These aren't just any players, they're talented, versatile, high-upside prospects who could very well become cornerstones of the Falcons' defense in the coming years. The goal: to finally establish a more dangerous pass rush, one that can rattle quarterbacks, disrupt timing, and force turnovers. As Falcons staff writer Will McFadden pointed out, Raheem Morris, the team's defensive coordinator, was tired of the criticism regarding their lack of pressure and made it clear that fixing this issue was a top priority. The message was simple: that's got to change, and the only way to change that is to change that. But even with those draft picks, the Falcons aren't stopping there. They're also eyeing the veteran market, especially at cornerback. You see, the secondary has been a bit of a roller coaster in recent seasons, and adding a seasoned, proven player could make a significant difference. And here's where things get interesting. The name Jalen Ramsey has been floating around a lot lately, and for good reason. Ramsey, who's been seeking a trade since the offseason started, is one of the best cornerbacks in the league when healthy, and his presence on the field could elevate the Falcons' secondary to a whole new level. Now, the intriguing part is the potential for a reunion. Ramsey's current team, the Miami Dolphins, are in a bit of a tricky spot. According to reports, Miami might be willing to trade Ramsey, but the cost could vary depending on when the trade happens. If they wait until after June 1, the financial implications change and the price might be lower. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel recently addressed the Ramsey situation, but he didn't give any definitive answers, only saying that zero has changed since the last time he spoke about the trade. That leaves a lot of room for speculation. What makes this situation even more compelling is the connection between Ramsey and Raheem Morris. Remember, Morris was Ramsey's defensive coordinator when he played for the Rams. That relationship is reportedly as strong as it could possibly get, which naturally raises the question: could Morris's familiarity and rapport with Ramsey influence a potential trade? NFL Network Steve Witch didn't rule out the possibility of a deal, especially given that the Falcons have historically been aggressive in building their secondary. If such a trade were to happen, it might be a short-term move, aimed at bolstering the secondary immediately rather than a full rebuild. But imagine a tandem with A.J. Terrell and Jalen Ramsey locking down one side of the field. Opposing quarterbacks would think twice before throwing into that coverage. It would be a game-changer for the Falcons' defense, elevating their status in the division and making life much harder for their opponents. This possibility isn't just speculation, it's backed by some strong whispers around the league. Ramsey's talent and experience, combined with the Falcons' need for a top-tier corner, make this a scenario worth watching closely. And it's not just about filling a gap, it's about transforming the entire secondary into a real strength, something they desperately need to compete at the highest level. Now, let's step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. The Falcons have been a team on the rise, but they've often been held back by inconsistent defense and the inability to get to the quarterback. Their offense has been dynamic, especially with the emergence of young stars like quarterback Desmond Ridder, who showed flashes last season and seems poised for a breakout year. The running game, led by Bijan Robinson, one of the most exciting rookies in recent drafts, adds another dimension that defenses will have to respect. But if they want to truly contend, they need to make sure their defense can hold up under pressure, especially in crucial moments. That's why these draft picks and potential trades are so pivotal. The Falcons are clearly trying to build a balanced team, an offense that can put up points and a defense that can keep opponents from doing the same. The draft was a statement of intent, and the possibility of adding Ramsey is like icing on the cake. It's a move that could shift the division dynamics, especially if the Falcons start the season strong and build confidence. And with the NFC South being as competitive as ever, every game will count. The Buccaneers, Panthers, and Saints are all loading up with new talent, so Atlanta has to respond in kind. The NFC South has historically been a division of ups and downs, of surprises and disappointments. But this year, it looks like things might be more chaotic than ever, with teams making bold moves to gain an edge. For Falcons fans, that means a season full of hope, excitement, and plenty of storylines to follow. Will the Falcons finally break through that playoff barrier? Can they establish a dominant pass rush? Will the secondary become a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks? All these questions are swirling around, and the answers will come as the season unfolds. But one thing is clear, the Atlanta Falcons are not standing still. They're making calculated moves, trying to position themselves as serious contenders. The draft, the potential Jalen Ramsey trade, and the ongoing development of their young core all point towards a team that's hungry for success. And if they manage to pull off some of these moves, especially adding a player of Ramsey's caliber, it could be the start of a new era, one where the Falcons are not just a team fighting to be relevant, but a team that's genuinely competing for titles. The NFC South is evolving, and the Falcons are right in the middle of that transformation. They're not just looking to patch holes, they're aiming for a complete overhaul, a strategic shift that could redefine their future. Fans are buzzing, analysts are watching every move, and the players themselves are feeling the energy. This season promises to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and the Falcons are right at the heart of it, ready to make their mark. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference, thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So to sum it all up, the Atlanta Falcons are at a pivotal moment. They've laid the groundwork with young talent, strategic drafts, and some shrewd moves on the market. The defensive improvements they're pursuing could be the key to unlocking their full potential. Whether it's through the draft, free agency, or trade, they're clearly aiming to turn the page and become a serious playoff threat. And the possibility of landing Jalen Ramsey adds a whole new layer of excitement to the mix. Imagine that secondary, Terrell and Ramsey, locking down the outside, making life miserable for quarterbacks trying to throw into tight windows. That's the kind of defense that can carry a team deep into January and beyond. And fans, I want to hear from you. What do you think about all these rumors? Do you believe the Falcons will pull off the Ramsey deal? How do you see the team's defense shaping up? Are they ready to make a run for the NFC South title? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters. I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and insights into the Atlanta Falcons' journey this season. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay passionate, stay loud, and let's support our Falcons all the way to greatness.